Hi, everybody. Well, today is World Turtle Day. In back in 1990, the American Tortoise Rescue Association wanted to promote the awareness of turtles and tortoises in the world because they're beginning to be endangered. There's over 300 species of turtles in the world, and just about half of them are on the endangered list. It's very frightening. These reptiles, turtles, have been around for millions and millions of years. They're older than dinosaurs. They're around at the time of the dinosaurs. They're older than snakes and crocodiles. They are ancient. They are old, old, old. So how come they're, able to survive that long, and now they seem to be in trouble? I guess we're closing off or wrecking their habitat. They get caught in fishing nets. There's, quite a few different reasons why they seem to be depleting in numbers. So we need to protect. They're promoting the protection of their habitat and awareness of just what fantastic creatures turtles are. The theme for this year is Turtles Rock. And indeed they are. I have found out that they do indeed rock. Reptiles are one of the 6 animal groups in the world, tortoises being one, and turtles another. In order to be a reptile, you have to be cold-blooded, lay eggs, have 4 legs, breathe air through lungs, and your body is covered with scales. Now, that's what a turtle's shell is. It's scales. It's their skin, like our fingernails, like our hair. It just keeps growing and growing and growing. They don't shed their shell every year and grow a new one. When they're hatched, that's their shell, and it just keeps growing like a tree. Scientists and people in nature can count the rings of a tree to tell how old they are. Well, that's exactly how they determine the age of a turtle. The shell is made up of about 50 little plates. There's the belly plate and the back plate. They all have scientific names, which I'm not going to get into, but they have about 50 of these little plates. And it's very heavy. It's heavy for them to carry along. Even though they have a shell, they still have a vertebrae. Like, they are vertebrate animals. So their shell is not their sort of skeleton. It's their skin. But their shell and their vertebrae somehow are connected. And their shoulders and their skull, it's just like one big casing for the turtle to protect its internal organs. And quite an amazing little creature as far as their body and bone structure is. They're very long-lived animals because they are slow metabolism. They have a very slow metabolism. Their organs do not age. They just, their life just moseys along. We say slow as a turtle. And so their metabolism is very slow. That way they get to live a very long time. In their mating season, they can migrate from one body of water to another. Turtles live in shallow, slow-moving rivers and lakes, ponds, I guess. When it's mating season, they can be known to go from one lake to another. And I guess that's why we see them meandering across a highway and cars crash into them. That's one of the reasons why they're suffering in their numbers. They have flexible legs, long legs with their claws. Their fingers are like big long claws, but they're also webbed because turtles, although they go on land, they bury their eggs in a nest on land, they live most of their time in water. So they need long claws to, get locomotion on land and to dig their nest. The female ones have longer nails than the male ones, but they also need to be able to swim. That's another sort of difference they have than tortoises. Tortoises have more of a round shell on their back, and turtles are sleek and low because they've got to swim. They scoot around in the water, so they need to have a low, smooth shell so that they can swim more easily. They lay their eggs in about May or June, probably just about this time of year. They're out there probably digging in that sandy, loose soil to lay their eggs, which will take till the fall to hatch. So once the female digs the nest and lays her 50 or so eggs, she covers it back up and then she's off. It's not like our ducks and geese and other birds that lay their eggs and then nest on them and keep the eggs warm till they hatch. Not so with turtles, not so with tortoises. They dig their nest, lay their eggs, cover it back up, and then they're out of there. They're on to the next thing. The eggs are on their own. So that when they hatch in the fall, those little hatchlings are skirting across to get straight to the water because that's basically where they live. Now, depending on the temperature of the soil that the nest is in, the temperature of the air, or the temperature of the soil, temperature is very important for the eggs in their maturity and they're getting ready to hatch, because that is what determines the sex of the turtle. Depending on the temperatures, basically how it's determined whether it's going to be a male or a female turtle once it's hatched. Interesting. Now, turtles can be herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. Lots of different, like I say, there's over 300 different types of turtles, so they a real variety on their eating habits and other habits. Now, once the eggs are hatched, okay, now we're in the fall, we're getting ready for winter. Now, turtles, they hibernate. Well, it's not really called hibernation for them, because hibernating, if you're a bear and you're going to go and hibernate, you're breathing oxygen into your lungs through their mouth and nose. But when a turtle hibernates, they get down to the bottom of the lake and they sort of nestle into the mud and the soil at the bottom of the lake. And their body takes on some sort of change so that they don't now breathe through their mouth and nose. They breathe through, and this is the real term, they're butt breathers. B-U-T-T, butt breathers. When the water is flowing over them, when the lake is frozen over top, they can't get up to breathe. They're in this bromation phase of the year, and the water is still flowing over them. The water doesn't freeze down to the bottom. They still have to be in water. And when the water is flowing over the turtle, the water flows past their butt. You know, where they poo and pee. And there's something about the tissue around their butt that is able to absorb or take the oxygen out of the water for the turtle to use throughout the winter months. Now, they don't use a lot of oxygen, so that's one good thing, but that's how they get their oxygen. I don't know what they eat, how they get nourishment. They must not need to eat during the winter months, but they definitely need oxygen, and that's how they get their oxygen. So there we go, through the winter. Now it's spring again. Up they come, off with another cycle, scurrying around, laying eggs, and over we go, the life cycle of a turtle. In Manitoba and Saskatchewan, we have two types of turtles, a painted turtle and a snapping turtle. Now, snapping turtles aren't, as beloved. Painted turtles, everybody loves painted turtles, and there's lots of them. The climate and the area down by Boissevain is just perfect for painted turtles. There's lots of them down there. But snapping turtles, they're not so pretty. They are pretty well camouflaged. When they're sitting down there, they look like a rock. So we can walk past them without really noticing them. Painted turtle, on the other hand, they've got red around here, and their belly is yellow and orange, and they have beautiful stripes down their neck. Very beautiful. And in fact, Boissevain has Tommy the turtle as part of their sort of tourism draw to come down to Boissevain and see Tommy the turtle. Because in that area is what we call Turtle Mountain. Now, there's a big story about Turtle Island, Turtle Mountain, as it reflects with our native beliefs, folklore, and history. And that's another whole story. But down in Turtle Mountain Provincial Park in Manitoba, apparently this mountain, I don't see how it's a mountain. I'm used to Rocky Mountains, all jaggedy mountains. But to me, it's a hill, a rolling hill. They call it a plateau. It seems to be in the shape of a turtle. So that's why, part of the reason, I think, why they call it Turtle Mountain. There's a lot of painted turtles down in that area, and the hill, the rolling hills, and there's one particular one that is named Turtle Mountain. So yeah, that's a little bit of story about our turtles that we need to concern ourselves with as best as we can. I don't know how we're going to fix it, because we have to pave paradise and put up a parking lot. We have to create our cities. We have to, clear the land for farming. And there's, it just seems that they're at a natural detriment for where they live, that humankind is taking over and demolishing their habitat. So anyway, that's a turtle, a fantastic animal, reptile. Really had a fun time reading up and learning about turtles, and particularly painted turtles. Turtle Island, Turtle Mountain. Take care now. Have a good day.